Hey everyone, welcome back to Tyfire Network. So, this channel's been dead from the beginning, but it had a little bit of a startup back like a few years ago. I ended that because I didn't think I was doing good enough for YouTube at the time, and I wasn't. I wasn't doing good enough. I wish I had stayed on though, because I could have made it pretty far, but I don't just want to do like Minecraft videos on here. I want to kind of move to other stuff. Like I have a series planned to do a play of Ocarina of Time with someone who's never really seen much of it before. That would have gone up before this, but the video file was corrupt, so I'll have to retake that. And I should have a lot of time to record and upload these. Hopefully they're good. I don't really know. I'm not the best at recording, but I can do my best. Man, too many bests. Anyway, let's just get into the world. So, ignore that, but, okay, we'll get into survival. Tyfires. Sorry about that. Travels. Whatever. I don't feel like proper grammar, everything. Anyway, I shouldn't do bonus chest or allow cheats. As much as I'd love to, I probably shouldn't. So, we'll just go for this. So, sorry if I, like, swallow too much and it comes over on the microphone, or if you can hear my computer in the background. Not much I can really do about it, or, you know, my chair. Oh, okay. Whoa. You telling me they start me on a freaking island and there's no trees at all whatsoever? I promise I didn't know the seed for this. This is scripted, but I can't do this. This is impossible. Okay, well, I'm gonna do what I can do to make the best of this. There's like a 3% chance that I'm gonna find a mine shaft down here with wood in it. Till that, though, I'm kind of backed into the crazy, not crazy, whole corner, the annoying corner of, okay, do I just reset because I can't swim that way, and I don't know. This is a pretty good place. Got one of them, but yeah, I can't do crap here. There's nothing here. Let's go into options and video settings. I should be able to up the render distance. It might really, you know, ruin the frame rate for a few seconds. I don't have a great PC. It's a R9 270 with a 8350 as the processor, but I don't know. Maybe it can handle it. Probably not. So let's just look around like that. Wait, I didn't set my zoom button. Hold on. So much. Uh-oh. What the hell? Oh, no. Okay, I'm gonna have to end the recording. It's gonna merge back together. You probably won't notice the difference, but I accidentally somehow clicked out of my window because of a window underlaying this video. Anyway, be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I don't know how I'm gonna do the editing on that. Editing. I'm super bad at editing. Somehow, though, I somehow clicked out of the window even though it's on full screen. I don't quite get it, but either way, we're back into it. So, I guess what we're gonna have to do is just swim that direction because that looks like the best place to go. But I am gonna get our stuff. 246 655. Really? 66184. And I'm gonna get that and screenshot it. And then I guess we're just gonna have to take a swim. Man, this is stupid. Wait, what's that? Ooh. It's barely in frame. Okay, I guess we're going there. I guess there's really no need to pause, is there? Because then if something interesting happens, I don't have it in the video. See, this is why I'm not good at this. Hey, we can take a look at my specs and what I got allocated. I got 32 gigabytes of RAM in this thing. Or, I think I do. It might have just 16. I don't remember. I did something when we built it. I can't remember exactly how much I might have cheaped out. But it's an R9 200 series, R9 270, the 8350 8-core, and I got like 5 and 2 allocated to Minecraft. So when you look at the settings, it in the other screen when you click Edit Profile, how it has the line at the bottom, I put 5G for the first one and 2G for the one at the end. So, yeah. Man, this is pretty far. At least we got a temple right next to us. It's like we find a mushroom island, like, right to our right. Oh my god. 1, 2. And they're in AFK range. Are you telling me we could have, like, 2 AFK guardian spawners? Like, I don't remember how rare these are. Haven't played as much as I used to in a while, but I gotta say, that's pretty good from what I remember. You could just put on 16 chunks, stand right in the middle, AFK all day, get all your prismarine. To my knowledge, that's some really good stuff right there. Okay. Something weird's going on with that one over there. It's like trying to build the... Oh, wait. Sorry, unprofessional. I should have turned that off. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to build the island over there, but it kind of, the generation fell short. Weird. Not the one I'm looking at, that one. So, this is really gonna suck, because I don't want to leave this place because of them, but there's not much, those temples. There's not much to go off of here, there's not much land. So, I'm gonna either have to build land or something. At least it'll make farming pretty easy. Place your dirt. Wait. Nah, that would actually be pretty boring. Okay, scratch that. I guess we're just gonna have to make do with what we got. There was cows on that other island, so I could get them here with the boat. So, I don't really got much to talk about. I didn't really think about it. I just wanted to kind of do it and have a good thing going. So, these videos are probably either going to be really long and cut up into a few parts, or just really long altogether. I'm not really sure. I kind of just like to record for a while and then just kind of go off of that. I've recorded a bunch of stuff I just never posted because it either had a corruption somehow because I'm a noob, or just something dumb happened. So, I've had to scrap a lot of good stuff. Well, decent stuff. But, you know, it's what I gotta do. Well, I sound like I'm all noble going and doing something for everybody. I'm not. I'm just doing this because, honestly, if I could make this work, this would be a really good job. A really, really amazing job, if you really think about it, because you're just playing games on YouTube, having the time of your life. Man, I'd love to be able to do that. I mean, I'm currently just like 15. I don't have a job yet. I don't have to. I have the time to do this because I'm like really proficient in my online school studies, and I was homeschooled for a while. And it's just working really good for me. Like, I'm almost, I'm a quarter of the way done. Being 15 and high, that's pretty good, I think. I don't know. I'm not gonna give away any personal information. I don't really want to be tracked down or hacked or anything. But, yeah. Although I am from Ohio, that's what I can say. So I don't know how I have the slight slipping into southern accents occasionally. I don't quite get it. I mean, I did grow up on a bit of a farm, but that no one ever really had any accents. I guess it just happens from people I watch on YouTube. I don't really know. I really don't know if this is entertaining. I wasn't... See, I gotta learn to get my voice proper. I wasn't trying to say I was trying to say like mimic the southern I that I did there. I didn't mean to do that. Also, the skin I got, I made that. I don't know, it kind of sucks. One thing you could learn about me, though, is I do have pretty long hair. That's about... Well, it's not pretty long hair. It's really long. It's not... You get what I mean. So that's pretty much what I look like. I don't wear a shirt that has a T on it, or, like... Or a shirt with creeper pants. What the frick? Hold on. Oh, it's my dad. Hold on, guys. It's just a text. Just recording MC for YT. Please don't autocorrect me to it, you stupid. I'm putting this on silent. I'm not good at texting. Last phone I had, I was like 8, and I was mature enough to say I don't really want this thing, I don't use it. Yeah, sorry about that though. But I can't explain the ringtone. If you could hear it, it was Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine. And the reason I picked that for him is because, well, I'm obviously not his dad, he's my dad, but back when I was younger, he would always have that because he ran his own business, pretty much a one-man show like the handyman. I hope he wasn't the handyman that, got it on with his customers every day, but he did do a lot of stuff, not trying to overpraise my dad. He just did a lot of hard work, that's all. But that was what would play every time he would get called out, and that thing would ring almost all the time. So it kind of stuck in my head, and it's a good song. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole reason I picked that. I'm trying to think of other cool stuff about me to talk about, because I really would like to think you like to see the game, but you also like to see me reacting to the game. That's what I kind of like. It's like Etho. I don't watch Etho just to see how he improves the Nexus or whatever he's working on at the time. I don't even think he's working on that thing anymore. Ah, come on! My phone's ringing. Well, part of putting it on silent does not work. And I hope it said MC, not me. Uh-oh. Yeah. So, probably really boring video so far, but going off of how I believe the recording should go, it's been decent. Oh. Okay, here's the #1 decision of this Let's Play. Do I curse or what? Because I'm allowed to. I just like to maintain a gentleman's role. Kind of. I don't know. I guess the best way to find it out is, well, shit, the sun's coming down. So... yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to build up here. Does that count as comedy, what I did back there? I don't know. But, yeah, this is all basic stuff. So, there's really not much point in talking about what I'm doing in the game, because we're just breaking blocks and stuff. No real fun to that. So, I guess I could talk about what I think what could have happened if I had kept on YouTube from last Tyfire's Travels. I think what could have happened is I could have been like one of them really cringy YouTube kid personalities or whatever, you know, the ones that are starting to be more common. I think I could have built up to that, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because now that I see how I was back then, like if you go back and watch the opening to Tyfire's Travels 6, that is how I feel all the time, like the Diamond song I sang, or kind of tried to, I don't really know. But that's how I feel, you know, about when I find him. I've always been emotional enough to, you know, be outgoing about it. But, I mean, doing that all the time like I did in that series just did not work. And my voice, paired with everything, it did worse. It did no favors. So, I think waiting was a really good idea, because it let me improve myself to get better at doing this. And if I had kept going, though, what I think would have happened is I could have gotten to at least 1 million. I almost started repeating myself there, didn't I? But yeah, I think I could have gotten maybe at least to 1 million. I think it was possible. I don't know where the attraction to it was, but it got a fairly decent amount of views for being such a small channel. Then again, algorithms and everything, I don't quite know when they were better. I know 2014 was good for some YouTubers. I know it was huge. And if I remember right, that was the year it was blowing up. Because I think that's when I really got into it. Actually, I got into YouTube more around... man, I don't even know what year. It was maybe 2013-ish. Back when... I can't even remember their name. Oh, frick. I told myself I'd never forget their names. It was, frick. 2 dudes, they play, like, adventure maps. They have, like, dark hair. They're British. They did the Eye of Ender series. I can't remember their name. But they were cool. My brother, who has a channel, Hero PvP on YT, it's about as mediocre as mine. Recorded on my PC as well. I'm the only one with a good desktop in my entire family, it would seem. But, yeah. what was I saying? He's the one that got me into Minecraft, because he must have been like a YouTube kind of fanboy type person to Minecraft for a while. I don't know. See, the reason I didn't know is because my brother, what happened is, it's a crazy story, kind of personal. I don't even know if I should be allowed to tell this based on family preference, but I don't really think they'll care or even watch this. Not that they don't watch my stuff or care, but like, I don't think it really matters. It's all old stuff that's happened. But pretty much, so there's my dad. Zombie's not my dad. So my dad, he's like the average guy who's just gone through stuff. He had a dad who pretty much left because he was kind of like a drunken jerk, from what I hear. And he ended up getting a new dad, my pap, the one I accept as my pap. And he's pretty cool. I'd love to meet the other one, but it probably would be unfulfilling because he was probably a total dickhead. But yeah, my dad has probably just not really had much to go on in terms of the emotional support he should have had as a child, other than from his mother, because my pap was kind of tough on him, it would seem, which is fine. You know, he's a tough guy now and stuff. Oh my god, stupid spider. So he was with a bunch of people till he got to around 20 something. I can't remember. I'd have to calculate his age. He's 40 now. I'm 14, so you can calculate it. But yeah, he was with some people for a long time in his life, just doing whatever, kind of making it through life, working like most people do when they start off poor, like we all did. Like, we're not dirt poor, but you know. But he God, I need to get on track with my story. And that's stupid. I shouldn't plant trees in here. He at one point they just got together, like they met each other at some party or whatever. Oh my god, stupid thing ringing. Please quit. I'm gonna mute it. I don't really care. Oh, fuck. Motherfucker. Stupid ass motherfucking phone. Later, Dad. Anyway, what I'm saying is, yeah, they got together, and then what happened next is he got with someone else because they broke up because they aren't meant to be together. They're not. Then he ended up getting with someone else, and they had a kid right after I was due or something like that. After I was conceived, he got another girl pregnant. He's not the world's biggest slut, I promise. It just sounds like that, or at least I believe that. But yeah, they broke up, and he came back once I was born. Please trust me, he's not a total scumbag. But then what happened is they were together till I was like 5 or 6. I can't even remember. They didn't get along. They were kind of just not meant to be together, my mother and my dad. And you know, things went down kind of dramatically. Nothing bad happened, like super bad. Everything's kind of fine in the story till it's pretty decent now. But what happened was he left. He went back to stay at my grandmother's for quite a while. He ended up meeting this girl named Penny, which I have very few memories of because I think I was at least 7 when she was around, but it was a traumatic time because at that point my mother got with this kind of drunk dude, like a drunken crazy, well, not crazy, he's a narcissistic dick, Mark is. So she got with him, and that wasn't good for me, because that guy, he was kind of a dick, but nothing bad ever really happened. I mean, he was cool. I don't know, it just didn't do wonders for me. It made me less social, I do believe. Not trying to make a pity party on myself. But then my dad was with Penny, and everything was kind of fine then, but she had this daycare thing she wanted to do, and she always put it before me, because, you know, her livelihood, I'm not her kid, I don't know. But she wanted me to end up sleeping in, like, the front room of the house. Like, you have, like, a door, and then you have, it's like a rectangle, and then you go right and enter a house, you know, that kind of thing. There was a freezer there. You're not allowed to have a freezer in your house when you do that kind of thing in Ohio or whatever. So she wanted me to sleep there, I think. But prior to that, that's when they broke up, because that pissed everyone off. She was kind of crazy, though. She would always make up crazy stories about my dad, come to my mom in the middle of the night, even though they lived at least 20 minutes apart, and say he was out drinking, getting it on with a lot of girls or something like that. Okay, I'm kind of gonna get a pussy out here. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like dealing with them right now. So, what happened is, they broke up, or, sorry, I was, uh, I was at the bottom of stairs with two doors, one to my left and one to my right, or kinda to my, either way. I was at the bottom of stairs, kinda just sleeping on a couch there, with like a TV. It wasn't much of a room. It was like Harry Potter, but without walls, you know? So that was stupid. That's what I lived with when he was with her. That wasn't cool. And I couldn't really relate to any of them because they were all girls, you know, her daughters. So, and they were kind of scummy too at some points. But yeah. So I had a hard time with that. Like, once again, it's not pity party for me or anything. I don't mean it for that. I'm just trying to tell my story so that we can, I don't know, kind of relate. If you can even relate to some of the things. Anyway, next thing is he breaks up with her, my dad does, and then my mom's still with Mark. I'll tell you when that ends. It's kind of crazy. And it was nice. That didn't happen too long ago, in actuality. Like, it was nuts. But yeah, he breaks up with her. I think he's single for maybe a year or a half year. I don't remember. He gets with this next girl, Tasha, which is scum of the earth level. Like, everything about this story makes my dad seem worthless. He's not, I'm telling you, but yeah, I was also put in a bad position there for where I had to sleep and stay when I was there, because I was there on the weekends because they were split up. Because I was homeschooled, I, had to be home to do school, so, yeah. What would happen is, I was sleeping in the middle of a trailer, the living room, and I got nothing against trailers. I grew up in a trailer, like a modified trailer. It was awesome. It was like a rock wall built on. It's awesome. I would show you if I could, but I can't, because I don't live there at the moment, but maybe someday. And, yeah. I was in the living room, and that's where I would sleep, because, Tasha was poor, my dad was poor. It's just what it was. But I was sleeping in the living room. The two girls that were her daughters, they had their own room towards the end of the trailer, and then my dad and Tasha had their own room towards the other end of the trailer. Tasha was a dick. I was never allowed to go in her room or anywhere near their room. I'm not a thief or anything. I'm just a normal kid, right? So this was kind of a stupid thing to do to someone. So I couldn't really, ever see my dad when I was there, except for when he came out of the room. So we kind of watched a lot of Stargate together, and that's how we related over a lot of stuff. Because we had both gone through some things like that. But yeah, that's kind of the beginning of how Tasha started. They lived in like a weird place. They were on top of a hill in the back of a kind of a decently long, kind of like a back road type thing. Like out of the way is the best way to put it. And it was like maybe a 4-acre area, and across the other, maybe it was 3, I don't know. I'm not the best with acreages, even though I should be. But it was like, I don't know, maybe they were maybe an acre away. Her grandparents, or not her grandparents, her parents, which were the girl's grandparents, they lived there as well on the same property. But Tasha lived in the trailer, and her parents lived in a house like an acre away, maybe not even an acre. Either way, the point is, they were pretty close, so we would hang out there sometimes. No really reason to do that. But yeah, things eventually they started to get along. My dad did, or someone did. I can't remember. I wasn't paying much attention at the time. I wasn't happy. But so they ended up getting a loan, and they ended up getting an overpriced $100,000 house that's luckily paid off, or not in his problem like his name. He didn't end up putting his name on the house because he was being stupid at the time. I don't know. But yeah. Then we go to this new house, which isn't too far away from it. It was by the Ohio River, like, right next to it. I'm giving away a lot about my personal life. I shouldn't be doing that, but yeah. It was, I'm not going to say the town name. I can't do that to myself. I can't let myself get screwed over like that, but it was a pretty decently sized house with, like, a hill right next to it. It was a pretty steep hill. So we could sled ride there. That was fun. Because it would get closed all the time because it was kind of dangerous. Anyway, that place needed a fair amount of work. But I'm going to skip all the boring parts of when it was decent there. So, what would happen is my room there wasn't as bad of a position as it was at all the other places. I actually had a room. But you know how old houses, they'll have the upstairs, and then they'll have the room connected to the upstairs? You know, just like a standard house, right? Then you have a room connected to the room, connected from where you come up the stairs. So you'd have to go through a room to get to a room, right? Remember how I said Tasha was never going to let me go in her room, ever? Well, you know how the room goes into the room from the, like, connection area up the stairs? So pretty much lobby to room connected from. So that happened on each side of the stairs. So the stairs kind of had like a balcony that wrapped around them, kind of, if I can remember right. So I'd either have to go through my dad and Tasha's room or her daughter's room, one of her daughter's room. And that never worked out. That was crappy. And it was supposed to be an office, like the room I had. So it was rectangular, and you know, if you ever had a rectangular room, I'm sure you know how hard it is to try and fit your bed and everything in there and try and walk around too. It was not good. But I just got to the point living in that house where I would never leave. Tasha was a dirtball, like, to an extreme extent. They have this one bathroom, and it's probably still, the whole bottom of the room is probably coated in laundry. It was disgusting. I swear, my grandmother was my saving grace during those times. I'd just go stay with her a lot of times, I think. This all says bad things about my dad, but he was never happy with that, too. I don't know why he stayed with her for so long. They were together for a few years with that kind of condition. So, yeah, he's broken up with Penny at this point. My mom's still with Mark. I'm going to go over what happened there now. So, what was happening is, she was living... Well, no shit, she was living. Her and Mark were living together at the... Let me think. How did it go? At this point, we're still living at the farm I grew up on with the trailer and the rock wall. Because I grew up in mainly the same place all my life. It was really cool that I never had to go through any of the moving stuff. But yeah, at that point, we're still there. So, I need to get my kind of mind together for a second. So, we were there, and my grandmother... You know, she's nice. She's your average grandmother. So, to say the least, when I met my dad's, like a normal kid, I have two grandmothers, you know, neither of them are dead. So, I can't go off of regular names, because they're kind of unique name, like one of them. So, we'll just say Grandma E, my mother's mom, and then, Grandma V, her name starts with a V. It's not any creepy meanings, I swear. I just don't want to give away personal information like that. Is my dad's. So, when I met my dad's, I would pretty much go to my Grandma V a lot. That sounds so stupid. I gotta think of something else. Grandma 2. I can't. That labeling, that doesn't work for me. But, yeah. When I was at my mom's, though, we were staying at Grandma E's house. And, she has a farm. It was like 300 acres or something, right? I can't give away where, because I'm sure you track it down with that kind of information, knowing everything else, but I'm gonna quit saying that, because you should get the gist of it. But, yeah. Pretty big farm. We were working on it. It was a hay place. You know, we would do hay. My grandmother had a decent amount of cash, because my grandfather had died and retired from doing CIA work. I probably shouldn't talk about that. But that dude was effed up to a major point. Like, I'll talk about that later, if I even should, of what I've heard, and things that have happened. It's shit. But, yeah, what they were doing is, Mark is a worker too. You know, poor life. But he was a drunken worker a lot of the times, but he never really fucked anything up to a major standpoint, like, not standpoint, point. So... What happened is, my grandmother seems to accuse everyone of stealing from her because she must have some sort of problem. I'm sure. There's no way she can't. No offense, and even though she deserves the fucking offense. What would happen is, we were, trying to get my words together. Why can't I today? I'm trying to get my words together, people. I'm sorry, but... Yeah, they worked that farm... making hay and stuff, feeding cows, same thing I grew up seeing for a few years. Then she accused them of stealing, or maybe first she accused my Aunt Marcia of stealing Oh, I just gave away names. Whoops. You can't track down a farm name or people from a 350-acre farm and a person named Marsha. Like, you just can't. Anyway, so I think she was accused first, her and my uncle, Jay. I'm just going to say Jay because names, if I keep giving away names, it's going to get figured out, maybe, if people ever want to figure it out. So, yeah. They were accused of stealing. Same with my cousins, Kyle and Sean. Fuck giving away names. I don't give a fuck. If you want to track me down, deal with the consequences. But yeah. They were accused of stealing, and my mother at the time, I mean, she knew that my grandmother wasn't always the coolest person, you know, kind of fucked up sometimes, but she kind of believed her because she had a little bit of thought. You know, you want your mother to be sane, not insane, I almost said insane. You want your mother to be sane. You want to believe she is. So, she trusted her and went along with that. And once they're gone, and stuff is still getting stolen, or maybe it wasn't, maybe my grandmother's just crazy, which is probably the truth. I don't think my mother's stealing stuff and I don't know about it. Like, we're not that kind of people. Even though I do believe in stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, stealing from your own grandmother would be a different story, you know? But, yeah. So, we end up getting kind of kicked out because she doesn't want us there. So, I have 2 sisters on my mother's side, and Mark had 3 daughters as well. One of them was on her own at that point, but... Or maybe she wasn't. No, she wasn't. So, there was S, A, and M. I know that spells Sam, but that's the beginning letters to their names. I'm telling you the truth. So there was S, A, and M. S was the oldest, A was second, and M was the one I knew because we were pretty much growing up together at that point. She was like 16. Trust me, this sounds worse. We don't end up together. That would never happen. It just sounded like that, so I had to correct it before it was ever theorized. So what was happening? What the fuck? What was happening was, we were kicked out, but my sisters, they weren't kicked out. So they ended up moving into that house. We ended up moving into a place in another town. We'll just call it Powada. It's an inside joke. If I say the name, you know, track me down and shit like that. But yeah, we'll just call it Powada. So, we were living in Powada for a while. It's a decent house, you know, it's like an older-fashioned in-town house. I'm out of the country now. Things are weirder for me. Mark's a dick. So, it would have been a few years since we were kicked out. At this point, I think my dad has left Penny and he is with Tasha now. I think we're still in the trailer, though. I don't remember. Those times, I don't know. They got blocked out on their own. I didn't want to block them out. It just kind of happened. But, yeah. What happened, oh, yeah. So, Mark has this job that he's had working on the farm this whole time. He's like a metal cutter. He does, like, roofs and stuff. Not on a low scale either, like, big stuff. Like, he was getting paid a decent amount. Not, like, god-tier kind of money, but pretty good, right? So, he was doing that. And he ended up quitting that at one point. He didn't quit it yet, though. He's still coming back. So we would dread every day, my mom and I, because we would dread him coming home at 5, because he was a dick. Work stories are no fun to hear. So he would just, you know, come home. I had a bike. I would ride my bike around town. The people in this town were kind of scummy. Like, super scummy. Like, not poor type of scummy, but just douchebags, really. So, what would happen is, I would just ride my bike around town, do a lap around a few blocks, like, more than a few blocks, I would go pretty far. But, yeah, it was no big deal. So, it was pretty cool. What would happen, though, is, a few years in, we would still be, I think we ended up building an addition onto the house at that time. A small addition. It took too long, though. It took way too long. But what would happen is, let me think. It's a lot to recall at once. What would happen is we would, we installed a wood burner because, you know, wood burner country life, it's just what we knew. And it works for us, it was cheap. So, I think at this point, we may, no wait, we didn't do that yet, sorry, I take it back. We didn't have a wood burner yet. We would, it's so confusing because it was so long ago. We would, think, Tyler, think. Okay, let me just skip ahead when something actually changes. So what would happen is, we would live, and it was like a few years later, we re-welcomed back into the farm. I do believe my sisters, one ended up getting with this really cool dude who they're still together today, and they've been together since like 6 years ago, or maybe even more. I can't remember. Too long for me to remember. It's not too long to be together. You should be together even longer, I think. But yeah, they've been together for quite a while. The other one ended up just going off, and I can't remember what she was doing. So yeah, my sisters are just kind of doing their own thing at that point. We get re-invited to come, like, do stuff at the farm. Like, my grandmother, she showed up on her doorstep, and they started talking again, you know, even though my mother's really pissed at this point because of everything that's gone down in her past, and a lot I haven't said yet. But yeah, a lot's gone down at this point, and they should never have continued talking, but they do. We ended up going on this GM car tour, which wasn't incredibly far from us. So, that was cool. We started to rebond, or they did. I don't know. I never had any broken bonds. So, we were continuing to go back. I think we ended up going back to the farm. I think Mark still kept his job at that point. We moved out of Powada, and I think we went back to the farm. No, wait, we didn't move back yet. Sorry, my bad. We were working on the farm. They were working on the farm still, because they got dragged back into it by my grandmother. Grandma E, as just say. So, yeah, let me think. Yeah, they were doing that for a while. At this point, my dad is still with Tasha. Things are getting worse with Tasha. Like, I'd like to believe I tried to be selfless when it comes to trying to let my dad be happy and being with his relationship. I should never have done that. That was stupid. I would never say if I was upset with their relationship. I knew it internally I was, and I kind of hoped something would blow up with their relationship. Like, I think at one point, I would be smiling when they were fighting, and one of her daughters, Tasha's daughters, called me out on it. I couldn't give a fuck less, you know? You get what you fucking get in life. And I don't know. So, I keep saying a lot of so's, but it's just a lot to remember. I'm sure I keep saying that too. Either way, next thing that happens is, they're working at the farm, and maybe a year passes. I think we end up moving back in. Mark quits his job. We move out of Powada, and my sisters move into Powada. If they hadn't, no wait, they don't move into Powada. They were already in Powada before that. Okay, so yeah, Powada is someone's living there. I think my sisters are again. I don't remember, but yeah, they're there, and we're at the farm again. I think that's how it went. Either that or we sold it at that point. Yeah, we might have sold the house at that point. I don't remember. But, yeah. We're all at the farm again. My sisters are off doing their thing. And it's just me, Mark, and my mom. And we're just kind of living at the farm. They're doing their farm work thing. I think at this point, ends up bailing because she has gone through too much of dealing with Mark at that point, and she's pretty scummy at this point too. I mean, I think she's pregnant. She's only like 20. It's not so good for her. Not bright future. Sorry if you're in that position, but it's the truth, and you probably know it. So, yeah, she's in that position as of now. Not in the story, as of, like, now. But, yeah, I think she's gone right now. Since Mark was split up with the one he was with, if that wasn't obvious. So, at this point, I'm trying to think, because it's confusing. So, what happened? Okay, so, yeah, it's just me, my mom, and Mark. And Mark is narcissistic, and he likes to make people not feel happy, I think. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. So, when he had his main victim go away, his daughter, M, as I'm gonna call, it started to target more to my mother, who already was starting to hate him because he was a dick, but tried to have faith in their relationship because she's had too many things go wrong in her life at that point, so she needed something like that. It's ended up being better for her that happened, I think, but yeah. So, they're doing their farm work for a while. It gets to a point where, and I'm not sure if I'm skipping years here, so forgive me, but my dad ends up breaking with Tasha because he starts to come back into contact with, I'll just say it, Monica, which is the mother of my brother Anthony. No one's going to track me down by Monica and Anthony. Anyway, they started getting contact after years of my brother's life not ever seeing him. I always knew about him, I just never got to see him because my dad never really, I guess, took the time to go see him. But yeah, we get into contacts with Monica, and I get to see my brother for the first time. And then Tasha's being more of a jerk than ever. I decide, okay, Dad, I'm not coming back here every weekend. I'm coming back here every other weekend. Then Tasha says, hey, Jason, you're never, I've already got one of your boys staying in my house. I'm not having another one, is what she said. She's not Southern, by the way. That's just my interpretation. And, yeah, that's when my dad decides to just quit because one of his boys doesn't want to see him. One's not allowed to see him at that point there. So he just says, fuck you, fuck you, bitch, I'm out. Made me think of the song, but, yeah, he leaves. And then he ends up being with Monica. So Monica's with a guy right now. We'll just call him B. I could have made a joke there, a personal joke, but, yeah, he's B. And their relationship wasn't doing good either. For various reasons, I don't really know, so I'm not going to even go into that. But they end up breaking up. My dad ends up getting with Monica, and they're still together today, by the way. It's nuts. Sorry to spoil the story, because it'll be really kind of an intense story. But we are living in this place in Pennsylvania, or no, we're not. B is living there currently, in the story. So we end up moving to this rental place in West Virginia. There's a lot of Ohio and West Virginia that I haven't specified yet. But yeah, we're living at this rental place, not too far from my grandma 2. I almost said the wrong one. Anyway, yeah, we're living there at that point. And, okay. The place isn't so great. It's like a yard. The landlords are kind of average, meh. We're still poor. My dad's still kind of working a crap job. I think at this point he's working a real job. He might have been for a few years at this point. Yeah, he was. So, what's going on now is, he's, in the story, not in real life, he's just, oh, sorry, hiccups. He's working, so I'm kind of staying at my brother's every weekend, or my dad's, with my brother being there now. My brother, he was kind of a Minecraft Squeaker Squad type of kid back then, and he was a dick. Like, to me, because he must have been jealous of the fact that I got to know my dad, or our dad, for so long. So, I can understand that. I can't relate to it, but I can understand. So, yeah, he's pissed at me for, like, many years until I somehow get past that stupid-ass motherfucker that he had as his front, and I get to know him for real. So, what happens is, we lived there for about a year, maybe 2. It was 1, actually. It was 1, maybe not even a full year. And then their relationship, my dad and Monica, start to have what the fuck? Their relationship starts to have complications, and it's falling apart at this point. She's going back to be. My dad must just, I don't know, not be doing good enough. That's what I felt at the time. I was super sad because that sucked. So that doesn't last very long. I don't go to my dad's for like the week. I come back. Maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. It didn't last very long. We go camping, right? We wake up the next day. My brother's staying with my dad every weekend at that point. We stayed at the house alone without Monica there. Just me and my dad and then my brother on the weekends too. Just us for, I don't know, a few weeks. I don't remember. Then we're camping one night on a weekend. And then in the morning, Monica shows up. And it's like, apparently Bernie was physically offending her or something. Assaulting. I don't really know. The story's too fucking complicated. But, yeah. So, they end up breaking up, and then she gets back with my dad, and, oh god, what happened? Let me think. Sorry, I can't think. They're still at the rental place, yeah. So then, now that she's pissed at B, she kicks B out of her house, And, he's off doing whatever now. I don't give a fuck about him. Sorry if you're watching this, Anna, which is Monica's daughter. She has a daughter with B at this point, which I haven't talked about. She's not important to the story at the moment. Sorry if you're listening, but I could not care less. Fuck you. Sorry, just kidding, Anna. Anyway, just kidding. Please don't get pissed at me. So yeah, I think they will end up moving this place in Pennsylvania. I call it Burger Town. Just for various reasons, and plus that's a good censorship for it. But I'll just call it Burger Town. It makes sense for me. So we're living in Burger Town for a few years, and things are no cool. That house is pretty small. It's like got 2 rooms, so it's got it's got 2 rooms. Good explanations. It's got a staircase in the middle that goes to the upstairs, with a room branching to the left and a room branching to the right. When you get to the bottom of the stairs, there's a room to the left, a room to the right, and a room forward. That's the whole house. That's it. This is the whole fucking house. It's not a very great house. We're not there currently anymore. But, yeah, let me think. What happened? Yeah, we were there for many years. My dad, he ends up getting a job at Rockwater doing fracking and stupid shit. Then he gets a job working for, or with one of our neighbors, doing some other garbage. And he works a bunch of jobs like that for those years. Their relationship almost falls apart various times. I get into Call of Duty a little bit. There's this neighbor friend that my brother had who's, like, way older than us. He's, like, 17 to our 12. Jamie, he was pretty cool, but he's kind of a scumbag if I remember right, in a lot of regards. His mom died when he was young, so I can understand. But, let me think. Yeah, that goes on for a while. They end up breaking up because my dad thought that Monica was cheating on him. I still don't know if that was the case. I don't think so. Either way, their relationship still was doing bad, and there was a lot of bad things to do with it. So, what happens is, yeah, they break up. So, my brother and I, we go to my grandmother's, grandmother E, or 2, why did I say E? Oh my god. That's the worst mix-up I've made in my life. Never get those 2 confused. Yeah. We go there, we stay the night there, and then we end up moving into my old pap's house, like, great pap. And he, on my pap's side, like the one that took over as being my dad's dad that adopted him pretty much when the other one left. So hard to specify it without giving personal information away, but yeah. So we ended up moving into his dad's house, so my dad's adoptive pap. So we move in there. They're dead at this point. I was alive when both of them had passed. It was sad when I heard about, you know, each one of them each time, but I was too young for the first one, I think. Anyway, yeah. So the house is empty. We are moving in there. My dad, Anthony, and I. So we move in there, and we live there for like 2 months, maybe just the whole summer. I barely see them that summer at all, for some reason. Or maybe I did. Maybe I saw them all summer. Either way, we're there for like the summer, like a summer break from the girls, pretty much, is how it went. And Monica ends up coming back into his life at this point. Everyone's fine and happy without it. And I would have been fine if it hadn't been, but it's probably a good thing for my dad that they are together now. They're looking for a house. They're back together now, pretty much. Kinda suddenly. I was not cool with this at the time, but I am now. So, yeah. They get back together, looking for a house. So, at this point, I think we go back to Burger Town for a little bit, because we're still looking for a house, trying to get dibs on it and get a loan. So, my pap ends up giving my dad a loan when time comes to pass, because I'm going to skip some boring stuff. At this point, the relationship with my mother and Mark is super decayed. Like, super. We're not even working on the farm with my grandmother anymore because she's done pissed us off. Not paying them really, just being a dick. Right? That's pretty much the summary of what happened with them. So that's going on. Then what happens next is, oh yeah, we're in Burger Town. I think we are. I don't remember if we were at this point. We might not have been. Either way, we're somewhere. Of course, we're somewhere. And, we end up getting the loan from my pap to buy the house. Because we're kind of poor at the time. We still kind of are. Kinda. We'll get to that in a bit. That's coming up soon. It's cool. So, years have passed. At this point, I think I'm 13, if not 14, when this is all happening. So, a lot of years have passed. Like, a lot's happened. So, I'm thinking. Yeah. We end up getting the loan. We find a house. It's like at the top. It's like the highest point in our area. Not to give it away, but if you want to track us down, you'll probably like us. If not, run away from us. One or the other's gonna happen. So, yeah. It's really kind of a cool trivia. My grandmother's place is like the second highest place. We're like the highest place in the county. They're the second. So it's just kind of cool, right? So, what's going on at the time, I keep saying that phrase, why? Anyway, let me think. Yeah, we end up moving into this new house, blah, 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 they're still together. It's kind of run down, it needs repainted, that's probably the most wrong with it. It needs a pole fix. Not like a stripper pole, like a pole. And, oh yeah, it's kind of small because it's a trailer, like a double wide type thing. They call it a modular. I don't fucking know why. It's just a double wide. Oh wait, more's happened with my mother than I forgot to mention. Not then. I'll have to go over all that because that was a big deal. That led to a lot of important things currently. So I'm gonna do that next, but that'll be before this in time period. Actually, I'll just do that now. So, we're on the farm still, with my mom and Mark. We end up getting a loan from my grandmother. At this point, we're still working for her. This was a few years back, many years back from the story that we're at now. I forgot about this completely. I don't know why. This is the most important part, I dare say. And, we get a loan from my grandmother. We end up buying this property right next to hers, like they are connected. And we buy it, and it's a pretty decent property. It needs a lot of work, though. The dude that owned it was a scummy, old, junky dude, you know. I'm sure you know the type. But, yeah, we cleaned up his whole area. Because we were buying it. We hadn't bought it at the time. So we ended up buying it, though. And the dude's still living there. He just kind of is a dick to us and tried to sue us for emotional grief. You know, no biggie. You know, just the average thing that happens in my life. And, yeah. I don't really want to go over it because it's just crazy, but that was stressing my mom out for the years that we had owned the property. I think we had that place for 3 years. So I must have been like 12 or 11 when that was going on. Wow, my time is fucked. But yeah, we had the place, and it got better. We ended up fixing up the garage it had, building a barn, building a hunting shack, clearing out a lot of trees. You know, it was our firewood source for a while. And, yeah, it was cool. So, years go by, the relationship is definitely decaying towards this point. One night, because they've had a lot of breakups, my sister, which was living at my grandmother's, which was right next to the rock house we were living in with the trailer, kind of weird. I'll give a map of it probably later day, if not today. I don't really know. So, we're living there. And what happens is, my sister, who was with this dude that she's not with anymore, who she was with for quite a while, she's at this point had one kid with one dude. She's not scummy. It just looks bad. It really does. She had a kid with one dude a while back. I forgot to mention that in the story. My sister's got a kid with, the one she's with now. They're really stable. It's all cool. I admire that relationship. It's really nice. But yeah. They have a relationship. Or my sister did, and then the guy runs away because he was a scummy dude. Okay, no racism intended, no offense to black dudes, but, I mean, the dude was black. I'm not racist. Like, I've always thought they were cool. I always grew up with them. My sister's really into him. But this dude was the stereotype of the scummy black dude that runs right away when the woman gets pregnant, you know? Finds the white girl, gets her pregnant, runs away. I'm not going to give names. I don't really feel like he's not even important to the story. So yeah, my nephew B is born. He's awesome. He's like 5 at this point, so that can give you the time for when that all happened. And then they break up, and my sister finds this next dude that I'm gonna skip over any small dudes that I don't remember very well. There's this dude, I'm gonna call him Jay, which is actually his nickname. We all called him Jay. His name, he didn't like it. It was, I shouldn't say it. It's Jamoy. I'm not gonna say the right. Yeah, though, we called him Jay. Everyone called him Jay. They're together for a marvelous amount of time. And, it wasn't so great, you know. My sister was like the only one working. They had a lot of points. They had a lot of cars. It wasn't cool. They bought too many stuff. It was crappy. They're living in the trailer at this point, and we're still in Palestine when this is happening. So that might give a better time period. I don't remember. They end up having a kid. We call him K. He's currently actually staying at my house right now because my sister ended up moving down to Kentucky. We'll go over that in a bit. That's one of the biggest parts of our story. But yeah, he's staying with us just because there's a lot of kids down there. I'll explain that later, too. It's not like my sister's dumping on us. We just kind of wanted him here. He's cool to have. He's not even in school yet. Almost said his name. K, he's here. Anyway, he's like 4. I don't remember. I should give some time. Then they're together for a little while more. This might be a little off in the time period, but they're together for maybe quite a while more. They have another kid, also that starts with K. My niece, the previous one was a nephew, K was my nephew. So yeah, now I have a niece to, we'll just say Audrey, the one that has a stable relationship that I admire. And then M, Monica. Now I got 2 Monicas in my life. The weird thing is, my mom's name is Linda, and my sister's name is Monica, but then my dad ended up getting with this person. Remember how Monica's Anthony's mother, right? Well, no big deal, 2 Monicas. Her mom's name is Linda. So, to meet a Monica and a Linda twice in a row, that should have been a bad omen to how things could have gone, considering. Anyway, though, let's think. Let me think. Yeah. So Monica's staying at the trailer. We end up going back, and she moves to this place in another town. She was doing pretty good. She got a, something in medical billing and coding from, like, a career center. It was pretty good. She's doing decent for herself. As of now, it's still a bit of a struggle for her, since we're so far away from her. But, yeah. So, once that happens, they end up, no, wait, she didn't do that yet. So, in the story, she moves out of the trailer into my grandmother's, I do believe, because we moved back into the trailer. She left it abandoned and pretty messy, because she was pretty much a single mom at that point. Jay wasn't too helpful. So, let me think. Yeah, one night, and Mark was never too fond of Monica, like, he must have thought she was, like, a scummier person, even though his daughters are bitchy and annoying a lot of times. I don't fucking care if you hear me, any of you. Fuck off. But, let me think. I keep saying that, but, once we move back in, one day they end up getting in a fight with my grandmother, E, and they end up moving out of her place, or either they get kicked out, because they'd been there for a while at that point. And time had to run its course, you know, and they're not the favorites. My grandmother picks a lot of favorites. She's a dick. I happen to be one of them, but I don't really see her because I don't agree with that. And she's fucked over my mother enough times. But what happened is, let me think. What happened is, they come over to our house because they have to. They don't got really anywhere else to go at the moment. They don't have their rentable house that they had for a while yet at this point, which I'll get into later. They move into our place. Mark hates this. He hates this. He does not fucking like it at all. So he moves out, throws his piss fit, moves down to the garage that's down at the property, at the property we own, or did own. So he's there at this point in the story, not in real life, and he pretty much stays down there all winter on his fucking own, being a dipshit like he is. Or at least shows to be. I think he could prove to not be, but he won't. He's not going to. And, what happens is, he ends up coming back, and at this point, my mom had said that they were done, you know, because they should have been. They should have stayed done at that point. That was it. That was shit. They should have been apart. They get back together. my sister moves out because, of course, why take shit from someone you don't need to? Mark's a dick to her anyway. Who cares? He's out of my life now and hers too. So, it's good now. But, yeah, my sister ends up moving to the place, the rentable house, where she stayed for quite a while. We don't talk to her for quite a while because they actually get into a physical fight that I was almost kind of involved in. And, that was nuts, I gotta say. No one got severely hurt. It was all okay, no blood. But the cops had to be called, and things were not cool. Anyway, we don't see my sister for quite a while. Her or Jay, which are still together at this point in the story, they're married now. So is the other sister I have. They're all married. My sister's no longer married at this point. Monica. Audrey is, though. So, let me think. Yeah, Mark gets back together. It's cool, you know, it's fine. And then it gets worse again. And then they are selling the property, and they haven't sold it yet. So then, one night, by this point, we're talking to Monica again, and my dad, he's with Monica. I don't think we have the house that we have now yet in the story. Or maybe we do, I don't remember. Anyway, there's this party I come home to from my dad's, or something like that. And I guess Mark thought my mother was cheating on him with some dude that lives up the road from where I grew up. We'll just call him JW. And that's not true. The dude, they've known each other for quite a while. Or, she was older than him. They were never together, so don't even worry about that. So, what happened is, let me think. Yeah, Mark freaks out. They end up getting into a bit of a fight. They recover that night. But the next day, they get into another huge fight about the night about the prior. And they break up that night. Big time. Mark moves all of his stuff out. I'm just kind of hanging out in my room. I don't want to be involved in that shit. That was some crazy fighting. They break up, though. 100% break up. And at this point, their relationship does not repair. And he goes and stays down in the garage for a while. We built this room down there that was supposed to be an apartment for the dude that tried to sue us for $1 million. That was part of the deal. That ended up being useless. It didn't fucking matter. We didn't get sued for $1 million. We didn't really get sued for anything, I don't think. Anyway, that dude should go die if he's not already dead. Not Mark, the dude that we bought the property from. He's a fuckhead. Anyway, what happened is he is staying in the fairly nice, kind of modern, small as hell apartment. Like, it's not even an apartment. It's, like, not even a full room size. But that's where he stayed for, like, the whole summer and winter, because that was, like, a year that was happening. And, Mark and my mother were married for quite a while. That happened back in Powada. So they end up having to get a divorce, right? This is a big part of the story, because since they have the property, there was a deal that a few years back, they got the loan from my grandmother to buy the property. They got a no-interest loan from her, but the main deal was they had to pay her back within a few years, or she got the property. So they have to sell it. They end up having to sell it for somewhere around 60 to 100. I can't remember. We got a decent amount out of it, though. We ended up getting more because Mark got all the like material possessions out of the marriage that they had, so we got more out of the property. That was cool. More hard cash to buy stuff. So I'm just gonna skip some of the boring parts. They fight for a while. The property sells. My dad ends up buying the house that he wants, the great one at this point. Like, it's pretty nice, but it still needed work. So he's living there. He's doing good. My mother and I, things are fine at that point. We're getting our money for the house. We're looking into where to buy a house. We do that for a few months. There were so many places. Let's skip all the boring part. In summer hits. This last summer, the one before this, I come back to my mother's from being at my dad's for a while. And, because it was summer, no school, I come back from a really bad road trip to see Monica's relatives, which I'm not very fancy for. Like, they piss me off a lot. So it was a traumatic kind of experience. I didn't like being there, visiting her relatives. I hope to never go back. But yeah, we leave there, and I come back. I go back. So there's this cool dude I never talked about, because when I grew up, when my dad and my mom were together, there were all my cousins, or the majority of them, like a lot of the cool ones, not the lame ones, they were all staying with us. Like, it was my sisters, two, my cousins, three of them, and then there was pretty much that amount of people. Maybe a bit more. So, it was a cool house, you know, growing up. Decently sized house, a lot of food. It was nice, you know. So, anyway, the whole point of that is one of the kind of cousins, not really, he, like a, I don't remember how to define it, but he's Dwayne, that dude. He's pretty cool. He's into motocross and stuff like that. He's down in Texas at this point now with his dad, which is fine. Good for him. I just wish he was still hanging out around here. That dude's cool. He ends up helping us out quite a bit. But yeah, I'm with him. I'm not with him. No. We come back, and we're in the car with him. I need to keep my wording fixed. That was bad. So, yeah. We're with him in the car. I come back from my dad's. They picked me up. He has a pretty nice car, so it was cool lounging around, but I end up, like, to the point of, like, tears because of how traumatic the experience was. Sorry, I'm a crybaby at that point, but it was pretty fucking bad. It was shit. My brother's a dick when he's around his cousins, so it was no fun. Anyway, we end up having a picnic with one of Dwayne's friends who he's living with at the time. No big deal. He's kind of unimportant to the story at, like, 100% unimportance. And, yeah, Dwayne just hangs around with us for a few weeks. Things end up breaking apart with him when I go back to my dad's. Because he was kind of lazing around the house, it would seem. I wasn't there to see it as much as I could have been. But, I mean, I believe it. He's still a cool dude, though. He ends up helping us a lot. I know I said that before, but yeah. I go to my dad's, and at this point, my mom really wants to move to Kentucky. I think at this point, my sister's already down in Kentucky. Monica? And that was a big emotional strain on our relationship. I had been making fun of every time she would say anything that was related to Kentucky for months at that point. So we wanted to buy a house in Kentucky. She did. I didn't. We never did. See, my sister's down there now, following the bandwagon, following my mom for help, I think. Unless she genuinely likes it down there. But yeah, they're down there still. They haven't come back. They probably won't for a little while. Then there's Dwayne's sister, N. We'll just call her N, or Nikki, or whatever. Just say Nikki. That's her name. Well, her nickname. Nikki's nickname. Haha. But, yeah. They're down there. She's got 2 kids. One to one guy and another to some other dude. One that was gonna end up living with my mother and I where we are now. That didn't end up working. They're split up at this point, but yeah. So yeah, Nikki and Monica are close. They're all down there. It's cool. For them, I think. But yeah. So, I'm at my dad's. It is, summer, if not very close to summer. No, it's right after summer. Like, right before it ends. Like a week or two, right? That's why I'm there at this point, not just for a weekend. I don't want to go back because I find out my mom's wanting to take our stuff, start going down to Kentucky, and I'm like, no, fuck this, is pretty much how I felt. That wasn't my words. My dad gets on the phone and he's like, listen, bitch, fuck you, he doesn't want to come down there right now. It's pretty much how it went. It was a huge fight. I end up abandoning her. She takes the stuff down on her own. I feel really bad about it still. This was bad for our emotional stability and, like, getting along at all. It almost fell apart, even though it shouldn't have. That was kind of a fucked up move on her part to kind of say some of the things she said. If you're watching this, I still feel that way, but at least we're forgiving each other at this point, I think. So, yeah. She goes down there and does that. I stay at my dad's for a few weeks. So, we end up having to get my stuff from the place where we was growing up, the farm. So, we go there, and, I think the property sold at this point. We're trying to buy a property still somewhere. I'm not sure where now, because I don't like Kentucky. I just don't want to be too far away from my dad and everything. So, yeah. We end up having to go to the trailer I grew up in, which my grandmother owns, for the record. She owns the property it's on. So, call me out on this if you want to. You can say who you think is wrong. But We're not thieves. It was my stuff. We have to break into the trailer door. My grandmother was there. She owns the property. She's like, okay, sure. We just take my stuff. We don't take my mother's stuff. We take my stuff and we take it to my dad's. Because at this point, my mother seems to be saying, like, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I'm doing what I want. Which isn't how she really is at a lot of times. It just turned out that way at the time. So, we end up taking my stuff back. She thinks that Dwayne, the dude that was hanging out a lot, left the door unlocked. My dad, he wants to cover for himself and not deal with any drama from my mama. And he says that, yeah, sure, Dwayne left the door unlocked. I talked to them, and I'm like, why? Why did he say that? That's not true. We just unlocked the door with a card trick. So, the card trick worked. It opened the door. So get better locks, people. But, let me think. Also, sorry about this video. It's not very cool. It's kind of boring, but this is what I gotta do. I'm preparing to build a mob system. Anyway, also, I'm surprised I haven't found any ores. Yeah. Dwayne's pretty much out of the picture at this point. He's cool, though. He still is. He's cool. So, we're hanging out. Once I get back, my sister's coming to visit. Audrey, she did at that time. And they were all pissed at me. I was treated like the black sheep, like I betrayed my mother, which is all gone now. I pretty much said fuck you to that, because that was bullshit. I didn't betray shit. You fucked up first, is how I felt. And it's how it was. It's how it is. So, I really hope this is still recording. If not, oh my god. It's gonna be a huge video. Yeah. So, let me think. Okay, so I come back and my mother and I's relationship starts to repair. My sister, she's no longer pissed at me, and my mother's no longer pissed at me. Everything was fixed over like a few months, so it's no big deal. Although she was upset, and rightfully so. I did kind of abandon her, and I'm not going to do that again. That was fucked up. But, yeah. That was done and settled. We were going to move to a lot of near places around the area, because she decided to stay, because I don't think she wanted to abandon and leave me like that, in a sense. Because, I think she knew maybe that Kentucky was a stupid idea anyway. And it was. It would not have worked out. So, we end up getting the money from the property, if we didn't have it already. And we move, or no, we're still at the property. My grandmother wants us to leave at that point so bad. We had said we wanted to leave too, because we didn't want to be there with someone that doesn't want us there. So, at this point, we are like dying to not be there. At least my mother is. She really did not, she was tired of dealing with my grandmother's shit at that point. All of her life, So, we end up leaving because, why did we leave? Because she wants us to leave. Yeah, that's why. And, my god, I'm so confused at this point. So much storytelling. I gotta relax. I really hope this video is not corrupted. This is such a big story. At least the audio can't go corrupt, I don't think. Either way, I'm probably going to post this audio, whether I title it my life story or whatever the fuck. I'm trying to get some light in here. I'm just going to kind of stand here for a second and think. Okay, so, yeah, long story short, we end up looking around for a lot of places to buy a house. And we almost ended up buying this one place. We had like $14, or 14, we had 14, we had like $14,000 left over from selling the property because we had to pay back my grandmother for the loan. So we didn't have a whole bunch out of the property. It sold for quite a bit though. But yeah, we got the money and yeah, we had $14. So we had to go buy a house. We ended up putting the we were putting the $14,000 into some kind of crappy, super small house right next to practically an insane asylum. We're like people that have had really messed up lives with I forget what, go. So it really was a bad idea to go there. We didn't go there. We ended up not buying that place. That place needed way too much work. So then we looked to the Forbidden Town. Town of ghettos and gangsters. So, yeah, I can live here. It's just, when you hear that name, and you know the area around here, you know that place is known for, like, gangsters. Like, drug-type gangsters. And, yeah, we were reluctant to look up here. Remember the guy I mentioned that was with Nikki? He grew up here. With kind of a rough life. Pretty tough. So, yeah, he knew the area. He guided us to find a good place. But he ended up bailing on us. And he still is bailing at the moment. Like, he's no longer a problem. We don't even think about him because he bailed. Like, he didn't want to hang out with us. He didn't want to abandon his roots of what he does. I'm sure you can piece together what you think he does. But, yeah. So, we ended up buying this house for... Let me tell you what about the house, and then I'm going to tell you the price. Now, if you know anything about houses, you'll know how good of a steal this is. It's got hardwood everything. Hardwood window frames, hardwood doors. Aside from the outside doors, which are steel, because the people that own this house must have been dealers of something. Hardwood floors, hardwood everything. This house, original windows in it, is so nice. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I'm trying to give you a reason to see why the price is so good. So, it's a pretty big house, too. Like, I don't know the square footage, but pretty big. And it's not like a mansion or anything. We're in a town, basic townhouse, but still pretty good. It's about as big as the Powhatan house. Not that I gave any scaling to it, but that kind of should give a little bit of reason to say it's like an average townhouse, maybe a little bit bigger. But yeah, this thing, it costed $8,000. $8,000. That's how much people are afraid of living up in this town. People will charge you $8,000 for that kind of house. So, this house, it's insured for like, I don't know, couple $100,000 because of what it would take to rebuild it. So yeah, the insurance on this house could well cover if any gangster decided to fuck with it. Like, Jesus, you could not lose the value on this house. There's no way. And that we had $14,000 or $14, whichever you want to go with. I like the joke one better, but yeah, we had the 14. So that left some money. So we had a truck all these years, like, on the farm. For a while, my mom didn't have a car, so that kind of only helped her entrapped feeling when she was with Mark. But we ended up getting a truck a while back in the farm. Like, a while back. So that's what she'd had for years. That thing eats gas. So we had to get, like, a nice car. So we like Subarus. We ended up getting a Subaru. It was pretty cool. We got a Subaru. And it's pretty good on gas mileage. We got that thing for $3,000. It's like a 2008. And, it's super, like, cool. Like, the nicest, newest car we've ever had. Because that's kind of how we like to live. Well, don't like to live, it's just what we're used to. Or, I kind of like that lifestyle, you know? Just kind of living, moving along. I don't need super fancy name brand stuff. You know? So, yeah, we have that. And since we didn't buy the one that we were going to buy in Powhatan for $14,000, we would not have had money for a car. My mom ends up finding this job. Now, this part I can't say anything about because it's, like, government exclusive. It's like a study job for, like, tobacco and stuff. But if I say too much more, I could give stuff away. But, yeah. That job pays pretty decent. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. It's not like a CIA type kind of level job, but, you know, you probably shouldn't talk about it, a lot. But yeah, I think it's the path study. That's all I'm going to say. And, we're doing pretty good now. We got this $8,000 house insured for way more than we paid. So, if someone decides to burn it down or something, you know, it's not like we're going to be homeless. So, yeah, our relationship is repaired at that point. So, this is pretty much now. We get the house all moved in. We're moving into the house. So, let's call him Kay, the dude that Nikki was with that had, her second kid with her. The dude that grew up in Youngstown that helped us pick this house. He was supposed to be helping us. He sent a text that he's with his people. So yeah, he fucking abandoned us to do whatever the hell. So then, here's this. Dwayne wants to come over and check out the house. We're like, sure. He comes over, though. My mom... So here's how it goes. I think that's exactly what happened. He said he was going to come over, so he did. So we said sure. So we're super tired. We've unloaded like half of a 20-something foot U-Haul. It was huge. I can't remember. It was freaking the biggest one they sell or rent, and we could barely do it. We were maybe half done. We were exhausted because we'd been loading it all day and unloading it all day. So that was our, we only made one trip with that thing because that thing, we didn't have it for very long. Anyway, Dwayne shows up and I'm like, oh god, I really hope Dwayne shows up to save us at one point. And my mom's like, I don't even think he's gonna show up. 2 seconds later, Dwayne's nice car pulls up and he's like, hey, what's up? He brought his friend, the one that I told you about. His name was Teddy. He brought him too, the one that we had the picnic with a while back. And yeah, they all helped us. We were all exhausted. We went to Taco Bell and just got some tacos. I developed a deep love of Taco Bell for their $5 craving deal. That thing is nice. And yeah, Dwayne saved our ass. He saved us back when Kevin, I said, you never gonna track him down. Who gives a fuck? Back when Kay wouldn't help us. So, yeah, Dwayne has like the shout out of a legend for that. But yeah, why did I just make a chest? That was fucking stupid. Oh, I'm out of stone because I put it all away. I'm stupid. Yeah. So at this point, we're here now. So, pretty cool. My dad's doing good at his place too. He's got a pretty good job working for a mill, a steel mill. I don't want to give away where because that could be dangerous for everyone. I'm serious this time. That could be super dangerous for us because it's a pretty well-known name. But yeah, he's working for a mill making about $30 now. So, pretty good, So I'm finally we're all doing well in life. Like, we weren't dirt poor to begin with, but we're doing pretty good now. So it's happy. So, yeah, that's like the end of my story till now. And, I don't really got anything else to talk about. Hopefully none of my family watches this if they don't want to hear my personal opinion. I doubt they will, but if they do, that's how I feel, and you can deal the fuck with it. It's, if you don't like that I'm cursing, yeah, get over it. My brother's allowed to curse, so the hell am I? I should have said fuck. But, you know what I mean? I like to have some class, but yeah, that's pretty much my life story. So anyone that watches this first episode and has the nerve to bear all of that, like the just ability to sit through it all, you're gonna hear an amazing story. That was my life till now, and fairly good detail. There's more personal stuff that has to do with what happened with my grandmother and my grandfather and stuff like that, but I don't want to get into that right now. I really don't want to get into that right now. That's way too personal. So, I think what I'm going to do is, we've done a lot in this video. I mean, we got a lot of cobblestone. We could start building a mob system. This is actually a pretty good place. I don't know how many caves are around here, but I'd imagine deep ocean. It's probably a decent amount of caves. But there's not going to be very many mob spawners out here. So, if I built a mob spawner, it would be really efficient. Except for them guardian. But I could always, like, disable one or the other at a time, but I could have the ultimate resource cache right here. It's like if there was a swamp there too. That would be perfect. Like with a swamp with a witch hut, that would be the best AFK. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call the video here. So I'm really bad at editing, so I'm just gonna do it like this. 3, 2, 1, over.